That's okay. I mean, it's a situation that was.
Response. The Heart supporters felt as though their team had given up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to We Have No Cares, back for our 7th season doing this. Robert, can you believe that? I am joined, of course, by Robert Borthwick.
It's the difficult 7th season. I don't know how we're going to follow up the last 6.
They have been extremely impressive the entire way through. Sorry for that slightly stilted intro. It has been a very, very, very long off-season. Oh, we finally got our hearts back.
They're here. They're here and they are whelming.
They are here and they are absolutely in pre-season form. It is a joy to behold. I think that's the way we need to start this discussion. This is basically a pre-season game with half the team missing against one of the strongest teams we'll face all season.
Yeah, I would say so. John Robertson sets his teams up to be very organised. He gets the most out of the little resources that he has. Inverness were decent in the Championship last season. I think they were maybe a wee bit aggrieved, as were a number of other teams, that COVID killed it all because they were looking pretty good for the playoffs. But yeah, I mean it was a pre-season game. And I hate pre-season games, but it just had that little tinge of competitiveness, which meant I watched all 90 minutes because I was so tempted to just stop.
I really hope that's not going to be the theme of this season, but I worry that might be the theme of this season.
I just kept leaning towards my phone and I was like, no, no, watch the game.
Well, we are grateful for your discipline. You did it. So,
thanks, man.
To look at the game itself, I suppose the most interesting thing, it being very technically the first competitive game of the season, we look at the formation, the personnel, and what secrets this might have in store for us. And I think the main thing that we learn is that international breaks are going to suck.
Yeah, they're going to suck real bad because 2 of our very best players play for Northern Ireland regularly, which means we're going to be subjected to Jamie Brandon and Bald Whiten, which... I don't know.
Bald Whiten, of course, being our exciting new player for this season.
Yes, yeah. He's like Craig Whiten, but he's just eating other people's muscles. And now he's got way less hair.
Mm-hmm. And these are the main attributes that we can take from the game.
None. He's got none hair. It's all gone.
Zero hair.
Yeah.
Though fitting in with the rest of our forward line with Naismith and Boyce quite nicely.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Liam Boyce thankfully has admitted defeat with his hair. He tried manfully, like a ginger Eddie White, to really just see out the most of that hair. But it's all gone now, and do you know what? He's all the better for it. He's grown a little beard, and good for him. Good for him. Stephen Naismith did it years ago. He went for the whole like Butters from South Park thing for ages with a little bit of blonde hair.
He sure did.
That's gone now as well.
I'm just delighted that we've got a theme for our forward line as well. It's nice to be able to look at our players on the pitch and go, and that's a great ball by Naismith. It is Naismith this time.
He's the one with the armband. Boyce is the one with the ginger beard, and Craig Whiten's the bulky one.
Well,
Craig Whiten's the one that doesn't score.
Well, let's hope that is the most distinguishing thing about Craig Whiten this season, because could be hard if they're all hitting Craig Whiten levels.
Yeah, he had a couple of good chances in the first half, though. You know, he had a decent swivelling shot, which Mark Ridgers saved, and then Jamie Walker just hit directly back at the prone Mark Ridgers as he was lying on the turf, and then he hit the bar as well. Craig Whiten's thing is he would be fucking amazing at sevens.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's such a technically decent footballer. When he gets in tight situations, we saw it a few times in this game. Saw it against Partick Thistle, one of the 10 times that we played them. He's really good at fronting players up and getting past them. He's got that little touch to get away from defenders, and usually it's in a wider position, so he sets something up. But it just, I don't think he'll ever score for Hearts. I just don't think it's ever going to happen. It's such a shame because I genuinely feel for the guy. Like, he's had bad injury issues. He was often thrown into the team last season, or the last couple of seasons, and did flatter to deceive, and he'll admit that himself. I really want him to do well, but
Heart striker not scoring goal is a shame. That's certainly a take, Robert. That's certainly a way to describe it, but cool, that's your opinion.
Listen, man, I don't get as angry as I used to. I've calmed down a lot. I smoke so much, man.
I am going to clip that because I get the feeling we're going to have a good old chuckle about that one later on in the season.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the way the team set up, yes, we were missing our beautiful Belfast boys, and instead we set up in nominally a 4-4-2 kind of... It was a weird formation because what we were mostly integrating was the fact that Walker, Naismith and Whiten all want to play in basically the same area of the pitch within 10 yards of each other, which left Aidy White to cover the entire left wing. Robert, would you care, given that you said that you don't get as angry as much this season, care to describe that performance for me?
I don't care much for the football stylings of Adrian White.
Good, succinct, and I think that covered all of it.
No, it didn't. He's just an absolute side salad of a footballer. He is. He's the spiced onions you get with your Indian. It's nice. It's good to have that there, but you don't ever use it. It's gone. He's nothing, and it's just such a shit. I've never felt less of a connection with a footballer who's been at Hearts for like 2 years. He doesn't offer anything. Like, he's never really had an excellent game for Hearts at left back or left midfield, where he was played a couple of times under Levine, and they ended up there this evening as well. I'm so happy we've got Stephen Kingsley in. I hope Ben Gruccio gets fit soon, and then Aidy White can just sort of disappear. Maybe we just tell him that we've moved, don't tell him, sorry, and then move their training base. Just start training elsewhere. So Aidy White keeps showing up at training. He's like, where's everyone? And then eventually we'll just get the message. Ghost him. We should ghost Aidy White.
We should ghost Aidy White. Yeah. Just new football club, who this?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that very nearly was the case a few years ago, but I'm just seething at your opinion of spiced onions. I think that's a terrible take.
It wasn't the best. I really like spiced onions, but I would when I get my Indian takeaway, they're an afterthought. They are a total afterthought. I'm sorry.
Okay, we need to move on. Because
I've disgraced myself. I really like spiced onions. I don't like Aidy White.
As poor as Aidy White being a starting left back for Hearts is, Jamie Brandon being a starting right back is.
So yeah. He second half was all right actually going forward. He a couple of moments in the first half as well where he has that sort of 5-10 yard burst of pace to get past someone. Would I trust him in a backline over the course of an entire season? No.
It had our best shot on goal if we're limiting our discussion to just this game.
True, and that was second half, and that was from a nice run from him as well. So I don't think it was a completely negative performance from him. To be honest, I think he was actually all right. He was playing really quite defensively in the first half because Ginelli was on his side. He was pushing up, so Brandon was offering that bit of balance and bit of cover for Popescu and Halkett. Aidy White was all over that left wing. But second half he did have a little bit more freedom. The shape changed ever so slightly, and especially when Stephen Kingsley came on, which allowed Aidy White to push up to a proper left midfield position. It allowed Brandon a bit more time to overlap and get involved in attacks. He was all right. I don't think he was terrible.
He was all right, but I think the reason I bring it up, it's from a general squad building point of view. Can you be happy with him as your second choice right back for the whole season when you know that your first choice is got at least, well, at most 5 international breaks baked into the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of looking at... Yeah, Jamie Brandon will probably end up playing about 10 games in the season if Michael Smith stays fit for the entirety. Is Jamie Brandon a championship standard player? Probably. He probably is a championship standard player. I think we saw when Miles Storey went anywhere near his side, he started panicking a little bit. He made some silly fouls, and that kind of shows that if there is genuine pace coming up against him, he might struggle. I think he'll be all right as a deputy. I would rather that we did have someone else. I think, the chat was that Cammy Logan was going to go out on loan. That didn't happen before the deadline, so we've got another right back there in Cammy Logan as well. So it's not absolutely ideal, but for the level that we're at and with the size of squad that we have, we focused correctly on other areas to strengthen first.
Fair play. Now this has been very negative so far, so let's move on to the more positive aspects of today's performance. Craig Gordon had saves to make.
Oh my god, man. See, after the absolute shit that was shoveled in our faces last season from goalkeepers, having Craig Gordon back is just a lovely wet wipe.
Just remember the hot towel that you get with your Indian, perhaps.
Exactly, yeah. Craig Gordon being back. I mean, that save he made in the opening exchanges from Daniel Mackay's header was absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's kind of... I mean, the whole thing, and this stat was said about 90 times during the course of the day, but it was 18 years to the day since his first debut for Hearts.
Oh.
And then, exactly 18 years later, he's made his second debut. I mean, he's not really changed, judging by that save. You're looking at a 38, 39-year-old man. But his reactions were absolutely spot on. Any cross ball that came his way, that's always been a little bit of a sticking point for Gordon is how he deals with cross balls. There was one in the second half that he kind of half went for and then ended up retreating. But generally, I mean, we've got a proper goalkeeper. That's all we can really say to it. We've got someone who will make a save if the ball goes on target, which we've not had for a while.
Yes, Craig Gordon, certainly a heartwarming presence and has dramatically improved the handsomeness of the Heart squad, which was desperate for an injection of handsomeness last season.
He has aged phenomenally well. I mean, looking at those pictures of Craig Gordon from his debut, yeah, he's just aged really, really well. I'm guessing that's what millions of pounds does to you.
And years in the northeast of England?
Yep. But yeah, no, good beard, good hair, just handsome. Well on him.
Just knows what he looks like and knows how to make the best of it.
Absolutely.
The other major highlight from the game for me as a player, certainly from the first half and throughout it as well, but the first half, Josh Ginelli.
Gino.
Absolutely. The tutti frutti sensation was a delight. I mean, he was the focal point of almost all of our attacks simply because we just ignored the left for the first half.
Why was that?
Well,
Nicol, who was there? Answer the question. Just say it.
I think they looked up and saw Adrian White and looked at his hairline and went, and then immediately went up the right.
Yeah.
But Ginelli, just a really interesting and positive winger.
Yeah, his final ball wasn't always there tonight. There was a few times where he hit the first man or overhit crosses as well. But generally in the first half, I mean, he set up the chance for Andy Irving that was very well blocked. He set up the chance for Bald Whiten and Jamie Walker, that sort of duo of chances. And generally, the way that he was cutting the ball back along the ground quite a lot of the time is good because we've got guys running in like Naismith and Walker from number 10 position, Andy Irving from deeper. So those kind of crosses will suit us really well. I really liked his changing it up. So sometimes he went on the outside, sometimes he cut inside. He kept the fullback guessing every time he was up against him, which was, again, for a winger, is what I really like to see. Sam Nicholson always did that really well. And yeah, it's just refreshing to see a guy who's got pace, but he's also got confidence. Because we had Jake Mulroney previously as a sort of out-and-out speedy winger, but he never had confidence, whereas Ginelli, every time he got the ball, he tried to go past his man. Mm-hmm. And seeing a player play with that sort of freedom is... I'm just not used to it, Nicol. It scares me.
Yeah, well, this was, as we mentioned many times last season, something that the team was really missing is certainty when it came to that. Now, like as you say with Ginelli, not everything he did came off, but he tried a variety of things: crosses, low crosses, dribbles, and each one of them, as soon as he thought he was going to do it, he started doing it. And that is night and day from last season, and long may it continue, and long may our other wingers prove to be just as capable in those situations.
Playing with a little bit of conviction. I think he's still definitely got things to work on, but that was a really positive performance. Really happy with that. Yeah.
Tremendous. Are there any other players that you particularly want to discuss? Because there's only really one major incident from the game to discuss.
Yeah, Jamie Walker looks sharp as a tack.
Shark is a back.
Jamie Walker suffered a shark attack. Jamie Walker looks sharp as a tack. He looks really good coming back from a hugely extended break. I mean, it's sort of no secret that Nielsen does really like Jamie Walker. Liked him first time around, used him in that sort of number 10 position, as well as occasionally out wide first time around as well. But no, he looks great. His touch is just absolutely spot on. The way that he was laying it off to the likes of Ginelli, laying it back into midfield for Naismith or Irving, the way he was finding Craig Whiting as well. Really positive in that sort of sense. He was also getting himself in really good goal scoring positions. Sometimes the ball didn't make it to him. There's obviously that unfortunate chance in the first half that we've discussed, and he scored the penalty. So I think really positive display, and kind of just what we hoped to see from Walker when he came back, but just was lacking until now. And he looks like he'll be our main player this season. He will be the go-to guy. Naismith doesn't look fit yet. He looked about a yard off it today. His touch wasn't perfect. He was still, commanding and barking and talking to players, which is a good thing to have on the pitch. But
more than a good thing, essential thing, I would say.
100%. And but if we're looking for the best team to play Dundee in a week's time or whenever it is, then I would start Jamie Walker in that number 10 position. I wouldn't play both Walker and Naismith. I would play Roberts one side, Ginelli the other, and Walker, and then Liam Boyce. I think that right now, to me, off the back of this, which to be fair is one game, it's our first game, but off the back of that, I'd say that's our strongest sort of attacking lineup.
Controversial, but that's what you become known for.
Well, that's it.
But it was Jamie Walker who provided the game's only real incident of note, unless you want to count Miles Story assaulting Craig Halkett. Nah, well, he doesn't, folks. The decision is in. Jamie Walker with the penalty. This was discussed long on TV, but I think possibly this was discussed long on TV because there wasn't much else to discuss.
Yeah. I mean, everyone talks about handball just now. It's boring. I mean, if it had gone against Hearts, I would have spoken about it. I would have spoken about it so much. But for me, I mean, we had a heated debate. Punches were thrown when this happened. You didn't believe it was a penalty. I thought it was, but it was soft. And I'm sticking by it. He moves his body with his arms in the direction of the ball, which is stupid. He should have left his arms by his side if he's doing that, but he didn't. He leaves them up. He leaves them in a sort of punching position. And for me, it is a penalty. It is very soft, but it is a penalty.
Dear listener, Robert did some wonderful miming there, and it has convinced me. If only you could see those beautiful movements from a body that has just been designed to communicate.
Check out the Twitter account. I'll put a wee video up. I absolutely won't do that.
Okay, so that is where we leave today's game, because frankly there's not a lot else to say. The coming weeks will show... No, you know what?
What?
Gorgeous to see Peter Haring playing football again. Oh my word.
I'm still not 100% convinced that he is fit. I think
he may never be fit again, but he's only got to be championship fit.
True, he still looks quite slow over the ground, but generally speaking, like he still knows when to be in the right place at the right time. He was winning the ball back pretty much every time. He was finding passes. It's beautiful to see him back playing football. I hope he does reach the levels that he hit at the start of the 2018 season when he was our best player. And I'd say this above Naismith, above Lafferty, who was there at the time. He was our best player, most influential player. He was the transition between back to front. He was the main man. So, yeah.
He was the one player that we never replaced.
Yes, yeah. Also, good to see Andy Halliday just thumping his way into a tackle for no good reason in the middle of the park. Just
wild.
And how he wasn't booked, I will never know. Especially considering it's Andy Halliday. Like...
It's his thing.
Yeah.
It's what he do. Who he be.
Yeah. Hits people. And it was great to see. He knew he wasn't getting that ball. He didn't care.
He was just delighted to be in the position to hurt someone.
Yeah, geeing up the fans from home.
One man who was subbed was my pick for man of the match. I don't know if you agree, but I think Ginelli did the most to be positive in that game. He was a constant outlet and a very refreshing and enjoyable player to watch.
I agree. I mean, I think if you were a neutral person watching that game, you'd probably say Jamie Walker was the best player on the pitch. But as a Hearts fan, it's more exciting to see a new signing and see a new signing do well. So from a Hearts fan perspective, Ginelli, because that was exciting. It's good to see a player play that kind of way. Generally speaking, in terms of actual football, Jamie Walker was probably the best player on the pitch. But I'm going to agree with you. For this podcast, Gino Ginelli.
So, unequivocally, Josh Ginelli, welcome to Hearts. You have the songs.
Yes.
Robert, you're confident and in full voice. I demand you give me your Josh Ginelli song.
You want a song with Josh Ginelli, eh?
That's what I would love.
Right. Do you want me to explain the thinking behind it first, or do you want me just go
I
ahead
want you to do what you think will give our listeners the best experience.
This is a classic. I mean, I'm talking an early noughties classic of a song. And the reality is, Ginelli rhymes with the artist, but also fits into the song. So let me just let's give this a spin. If you want to come and win the league with me, 3 baldies up front and Andy Halliday. Oh, football the Nielsen way. Hey, must be Ginelli. If we're selling white, then that's fine with me. Gordon Halkett, Harry Naismith is the spine for me. It's football the Nielsen way. Hey, must be Ginelli.
Beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Beautiful.
Thanks. First song of the season.
Good to get it under your belt.
7 seasons doing this.
Yeah. You'd think we'd run out of tunes, but not yet.
Non-stop.
Okay. Mine is... I have to say I was delighted when you said Early Noughties, because that ruled out you doing the same tune as me.
Okay, what's yours?
Well, let me tell you. Okay. So... Josh, you're racing down the wing. You got these ditties so they don't know what they're doing. Oh yeah, you're crossing sweetly now. Should they stand up or should they stay tight? Yeah, and now you're cutting in. That fullback's ready for crying. Oh yeah, you're on my telly now. You've got me giving all my neighbours a fright. Ginelli's got me. Ginelli's got me. Ginelli's got me.
It's so easy to forget how many lines are in that verse. And all of them getting a slightly higher pitch. Yeah, you did really well, man. That was great.
Thanks.
That was great.
Where's my fucking applause?
There you go.
So, Rob won.
Well, you know, Nelly's a classic.
It certainly is.
You can't see past Nelly.
You've got terrace chantability with Must Be Ginelli.
Well, that's it. Hey.
Let's not dwell on it. Instead, let's move forward to a new section for this season. We're very excited about this. I hope that you will explain it fully, given that it's... it's largely your creation. Let's look forward to our next game against Cowdenbeath with the Beef Forecast.
Yes. So, I mean, what we're looking at here, really... How do you want to do this, Nicholas? Should we just rip the absolute shit out of Cowdenbeath?
Well, should we first of all say why we're looking for beef forecasts for all the teams that we play this season?
I suppose we could do, yeah. So, I mean, my whole thing since the incredible summer of backstabbing and statements and not so subtle slaggings between football teams, football fans, football players alike, I believe that Scottish football should not see this as the scenes we don't want to see and fully embrace that beef. And I think that, you know... You kind of see it a little bit, but I feel like it's winding down now. I feel like, the football's back, so it's all about the business of football again. It's bullshit. What we need is some, horrendous challenge or something in a rival game, and that's what we really need to kick it off. So, I mean, I think we should try and sort of kickstart it again and just create beef with Cowdenbeath that doesn't exist.
Do you have any beef to begin with?
I mean, their stadium's that bad that we're playing them in Methil.
Oh, is that happening?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
So,
because that was going to be the source of most of my beef.
Oh no! You're gonna have to rethink. You're gonna have to do a methyl-based beef. So they've got water damage at Central Park, which means that the game has been moved. I mean, we had to play Wraith Rovers in Methil a couple of years ago in the Betfred Cup as well because something happened at Starks Park. So, I mean, that's like the sort of... Is that like the Fife Megadome now? Everyone ends up in Methil with its one stand. And what used to be a really, really awful and unattractive power station right next to it, but that seems to be gone now, so you've just got derelict wasteland.
So what you're saying is that the only landmark has now gone? The only distinguishing feature?
Yeah. Wouldn't count the stadium, Bayview, as a landmark. Wouldn't count Methil as a landmark on a map. I mean, it's one of those ones that you just have to zoom right into on Google for it to eventually show you the name of the place.
Quite incredible that they've managed to move to the game to somewhere less appealing than Cowdenbeath.
Cowdenbeath's fit has got some good pubs.
Has it?
Yeah.
Has it?
Yeah. It's all of it is next to the train station.
That's true.
So you walk down the stairs and it's like, there's some pubs, and then you take a right and then there's Central Park. So I've got no issue with that.
And then when you're going back onto the train, you stand and look at those pubs longingly for about 20 minutes while the crowd filters out.
Oh my god, it's so hard to get a train back from Cowdenbeath. Just generally.
Astonishingly, you would have thought the first thing the town planners would have wanted was easy exit from Cowdenbeath, but apparently not.
I once saw, and this was at a Hearts game against Cowdenbeath at Central Park. I was walking down the main street after the game. I'd had a couple of pints in the pub, and I was walking up the main street, and I saw one of my mates, Hearts fan. I was like, "Oh, hey man, like, how's it going? What do you
To be clear, I'm not hey man.
No, you could be though." And I was like, "Oh, what do you think of the game? Like, decent enough win." He was like, "I'm here for the stock cars, mate." I was like, "All right, cool." So it's not a football stadium. People definitely prefer it for the racing. Cowdenbeath this week decided to register 41-year-old Craig Easton as a player. Because their squad is that light. So their assistant manager has been registered as a player, which has got real Danny Lennon bringing himself on for Clyde vibes about it. So yeah, they've done that as well. They've got Robbie Buchanan still playing for them. He absolutely adores the Queen and Union Jacks. So
I really wish you'd stayed away from the realities of their playing squad, because now I genuinely feel very sorry for them.
Craig Barr's very handsome, if he still plays for them. I don't know if he does.
Great knowledge.
Yeah, he's always injured, never finishes a season. But yeah, Craig Barr.
See, like when you said you saw something at Cowdenbeath, this was going to be my stadium beef. It's the fact that, weirdly, despite having all the room in the world around that pitch, there is no good views.
No, none.
None whatsoever.
Not even if you get in the wee stand, because there's still big gates there in case people get crushed by cars later on in the day.
Even often not a good view for the camera filming the game, as we saw when Callum Patterson scored a great lost goal. Yeah,
and I couldn't see that from where I was standing at that game, because there was a pole in front of me as well. So I saw none of that goal.
So what we have to assume is that Cowdenbeath have sentient poles that wander around the stadium, just making sure they get in your fucking way.
Pretty much, yeah. There's, but then there's a proper away day, Cowdenbeath.
Well, that's not really going to fit in the beef forecast.
No, I'm trying to cook up some more things.
I think that's plenty beef.
Okay.
That's a good slice of beef.
Okay.
You know, as the season develops, we'll actually develop relationships with these teams, and beef will form. But we'll play them more than once.
It's going to be really hard in a couple of weeks when we have to say something bad about Arbroath.
Well, you've got a long time to let that fester.
It's going to be so hard.
I'll take the lead.
Please do. I'll present that section. It smells like the sea.
Oh no.
That's all I've got, man.
It's really nostalgic and refreshing.
You can't even see the red lichty. It's too far away.
Damn.
Fuck.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us again. As we say, back for our 7th season. Thank you for being so loyal and sticking with us for a long, long time. We love doing this podcast and we love having you with us. If you want more from us, Robert, where are you on Twitter?
I'm at RF Borthwick. Where are you?
I am at Nicol Hay, Nicolhay.
Yeah.
It's a weird name. I know you need to spell it. The podcast is at We Have No Cares. If you feel like emailing us, wehavenocares@gmail.com, and we will be back next time. Steve Crawford.
Steve Crawford?
Ah, yes, indeed, it's fun time.
Gute Flanke von Hemmel. Achtung, die Schotten im Strafraum, den 2:1 führen. Was für ein Weihnachtsgeschenk. Robbie Nilsson.
How is it difficult? What's difficult? We just got to beat them again, don't we?
Yeah,